You know, every single time you tap your card, make a trade, or send some money to a friend, you're interacting with this massive global financial system. But behind that simple click is a colossal unseen engine, an incredible infrastructure of data. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and explore the discipline that keeps our entire digital economy running: financial data engineering.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to start with the sheer scale we're talking about. The financial sector doesn't just create a lot of data, it unleashes an absolute tidal wave of it, creating what you could call an exabyte economy.
Let's just throw a number out there: 450 petabytes. That's how much data a single large bank, JP Morgan Chase, has to manage. And honestly, that's a number so big it's kind of hard to even wrap your head around.
So what does that actually mean? Well, think of it this way. 450 petabytes is like streaming a high-definition video 24/7 for more than 50 years straight. And that really gets to the core of the problem, right? How on earth do you manage, secure, and actually use that much information? Because buried inside all that data is everything from the key to stopping fraud to the tiny signals that drive billion-dollar trading decisions.
All right, so before we dive into the engineering part of this, let's just quickly clarify what we even mean by finance. It's a term we hear all the time, but the scope of it is just massive.
Yeah, take a look at this. It really shows you that finance isn't just one thing, you know? It's not just Wall Street traders yelling into phones. It's this whole interconnected ecosystem. You've got corporate finance over here. That's how a company manages its money. You've got fintech, which is totally changing how we bank and pay for things. And you even have the deep academic research that creates the theories behind it all. So you've got this huge, complicated financial world. Now, let's bring in the other half of our equation. And I absolutely love this analogy. Think of data engineers as the world's digital plumbers. It might not sound glamorous, but it is incredibly accurate.
They're the ones building the essential infrastructure, all the digital pipes. They're grabbing raw data from all over the place, cleaning it up, transforming it, and then delivering it reliably so it can actually be used for something important. Without them, you don't have data. You just have a messy, useless flood of information. It's just chaos.
So here's the billion-dollar question, right? What happens when these digital plumbers, these experts at building strong, reliable data systems, are suddenly put in charge of the pipes that carry all the world's financial data?
And this is where it all clicks. When the high stakes of finance meet the intense technical discipline of data engineering, you don't just get a data engineer who happens to work at a bank. No way. You get a completely new, highly specialized field.
This Venn diagram just nails it. Financial data engineering isn't one thing. It's this unique blend of three critical areas. You've got the hardcore technical skills of data engineering, a deep understanding of financial data itself, and, this is crucial, financial domain knowledge. And you absolutely need all three. You could build the most perfect, elegant data system in the world, but without that domain knowledge, you might completely miss a critical regulation and, poof, it's all for nothing.
And that's really the key takeaway here. It's what we call a domain-driven practice. The specific rules, the insane risks, and the complex regulations of finance, they dictate every single decision about how the data infrastructure gets built. You can't just take a data system from, say, a social media company and expect it to work in a bank. The stakes are just on a completely different planet.
So what makes it so different? Let's get into the nitty-gritty challenges. Now, you might have heard of the 3 V's of big data: volume, variety, and velocity. Well, in finance, each one of those is turned up to 11, plus a few extra headaches thrown in just for fun.
Let's start with volume. Get a load of this number: 45.9 million. That is the peak number of messages per second reported by the Options Price Reporting Authority, or OPRA. We are talking about nearly 46 million individual pieces of data, quotes, trades, updates, hitting the system every single second. Building something that can handle that without breaking a sweat is a monumental task, because every one of those messages could be a market-moving event. Next up is variety. And believe me, financial data is not just neat little spreadsheets of stock prices. I mean, sure, you have that structured data, but you also have semi-structured stuff, like complex trade reports, and a massive amount of unstructured data. Think news articles, dense legal filings, even audio from earnings calls. The real challenge is making sense of it all together. How do you connect a dry market filing with the sentiment from 1,000 news reports to make a trading decision? That's the real puzzle. And finally, velocity, the speed. In fields like high-frequency trading,
Decisions aren't made in seconds. We're talking milliseconds, microseconds, even nanoseconds. The data infrastructure has to operate at a pace that is literally faster than you can blink. If your system is a few microseconds too slow, you don't just miss an opportunity, you could lose millions of dollars on a single trade.
But, as if that wasn't enough, finance has its own special set of problems. There is no universal standard for identifying things, the regulations are incredibly complex and they're always changing. It's a total nightmare trying to match a company's identity across different data systems, and a lot of these institutions are still running on ancient, legacy technology that you can't just unplug.
But you know, when you get this right, it is a total game changer. Data engineer Shivani Goli sums it up perfectly. She says that mastering this field empowers professionals to unlock new dimensions of innovation in finance. And that's it, right there. When the data flows correctly, securely, and reliably, it becomes the foundation for everything else. From smarter trading algorithms to AI that can spot fraud in an instant.
So the next time you tap, click, or trade, just remember, you're creating a tiny ripple in a vast ocean of information. And ask yourself, who are the unseen engineers in the background, making sure that one little ripple doesn't accidentally become a chaotic tidal wave? Well, now you know. It's the financial data engineer.